Telling God to Get Out. Billy Graham's daughter Ann was being interviewed on the Early Show by Jane Clayson regarding the terrorist events of 9/11, 2001. She was asked, how could God let something like this happen? Miss Graham gave an extremely profound and insightful response. She said, I believe that God is deeply saddened by this, just as we are. But for years, we have been telling God to get out of our schools, to get out of our government, to get out of our lives. And being the gentleman he is, I believe that he has calmly backed out. How can we expect God to give us his blessing and his protection if we demand that he leaves us alone? This form of rejection seems to begin when Madeleine Murray O'Hare complained she did not want any more prayers in our schools. And we said, okay. Then someone said, you better not read the Bible in school, the Bible that says thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, and love your neighbor as yourself. And we said, okay. Then Dr. Benjamin Spock said we shouldn't spank our children when they misbehave because their little personalities would be warped and we might damage their self-esteem. And we said an expert should know what he's talking about. So we said, okay. Then someone said teachers and principals better not discipline our children when they misbehave. And the school administrator said, no faculty member in this school better touch a student when they misbehave because we don't want any bad publicity and we surely don't want to be sued. And we said, okay. A side note, there's a huge difference between disciplining and touching and beating or smacking, humiliating or kicking, etc. Then someone said, let's let our daughters have abortions if they want, and they won't even have to tell their parents. And we said, okay. Then some wise school board member said, since boys will be boys, and they're going to do it anyway, let's give our sons all the condoms they want, so they can have all the fun they desire. And we won't have to tell their parents they got them at school. And we said, okay. Then some of our top elected officials said, it doesn't matter what we do in private as long as we do our jobs. And agreeing with them, we said, it doesn't matter to us what anyone, including the president, does in private as long as we have a job and the economy is good. And then someone said, let's print magazines with pictures of nude women and call it wholesome, down-to-earth appreciation of the beauty of the female body. And we said, okay. And then someone else took that appreciation a step further and published pictures of nude children, and then stepped further still by making them available on the internet. And we said, okay, they're entitled to their free speech. And then the entertainment industry said, let's make TV shows and movies that promote profanity, violence, and illicit sex. And let's record music that encourages rape, drugs, murder, suicide, and satanic themes. And we said, okay, it's just entertainment. It has no adverse effect, and nobody takes it seriously anyway. So we said, okay. Now we're asking ourselves why our children have no conscience, why they don't know right from wrong, and why it doesn't bother them to kill strangers, their classmates, and themselves. More than likely, if we think long and hard enough about it, we can figure it out. I think it has a great deal to do with we reap what we sow. Anne Graham. Christian discipleship is truly the imitation of Christ, but the cost of Christian discipleship will come at a high price. You will have to say no to temptations and the things of this world. You will be forced to face trials, suffering, loneliness, humiliation, etc. Jesus said to them again, peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. John chapter 20, verse 21. Those words were not just for the apostles. They were for each and every one of us. God does not discipline us to subdue us, but to condition us for a life of usefulness and blessedness. In His wisdom, He knows that an uncontrolled life is an unhappy life. So He puts reins on our wayward souls, that they may be directed into the paths of righteousness. Billy Graham.